Hello and welcome back to the beginner's guide for the Airbus A319, or just Airbus in general. This is again part 2. We're carrying on exactly where we left off from part 1. A link to part 1 is down below. Okay, so we're coming to the runway. So what we're going to do is our strobes are going to come on, landing lights are going to come on, and we're going to go takeoff lights up here as well. If it was nighttime, you could do your wing lights up here too. The logo light is done through the nav system, and it is completely automated with an Airbus. So the lights are good. Again, our trim is set, flaps are set, speed brake is armed, and auto brake is set to max, which is basically RTO, the rejected takeoff situation. So we are going to backtrack just slightly here. So we're going to turn left onto the runway. Now, I know there's no traffic because I am offline. So I can just scoot my way down here. And if I remember correctly, there is a turnaround point. Yeah, it's just at the end here. It's a lovely airport, Leeds Bradford Airport. It's situated up on a nice little hill here as well. It's an interesting departure. Now, there's one thing you're going to very much notice flying an Airbus if you've been flying Boeing, which is it seems like you almost never need to trim. I can point the aircraft in a direction and it will stay there. It's one of the benefits, I guess, of fly-by-wire systems, where if you fly a Boeing, say for example the 738, if you turn or pull up or anything and you let go the controls, it will just go all over the place unless you trim it for that. With Boeing, with the Airbus, sorry, it's not so much that case. It feels kind of surreal. It's very bizarre, very, very bizarre. Right, so we're lined up. We're going to go full power here. Now, how the throttle system works in an Airbus, we're going to quickly go over this while we're lined up, is if you're going to go toga, it's throttles all the way forward. There's different indents here. So if it's toga, the throttle's all the way forward and you are in toga. If you're going to go flex, you push the throttles until they are in the flex indent right here. And again, this is going to be all situated up here. You'll see this when we go ourselves. I will show you each stage. And then at climb, when it says climb thrust, you will pull the throttles back into the CL mode here. That's it. You really don't need to touch these until you land again. Again, this is pure simulator base. I am not a pro. I don't fly these things real life, but just for simulator use, you won't need to touch these until you are literally 20 feet off the runway landing. And then I would very recommend checking that your reverse thrusts are bound as well. So mine are not that one, they are there. So that's my reverse thrust. Just make sure that they are bound. Now there's one thing with the honeycomb is if I go reverse I have to drag them up. But anyway. Okay, so we're going to start our clock. I do both. So I do this one down here, so I rotate that to the left. I'm going to push the chrono here as well, which gives me the clock down here. We're going to go to T8 R8, and we're going to go. So can I bring this up? Here we go. I'll bring this up so you guys can see it. Watch the top left here. So I'm going to apply power. The whole brake's a little bit low. And release brakes. Try and do it slowly so you can see it. So there's toga. Rudder pedals are so sensitive. Airspeed's alive. It's a bumpy runway. 100 knots. V1 and rotate. Pull back nice and gently. And up she goes. We're going to follow the cross. Gear up. So we're going to put that yellow square inside that green cross, just like this. And if I put it there now, and I've let go of the controls, and as you can see, it doesn't move. So we're going to turn left here. I've let go of the controls again. I'm pressing nothing and holding nothing or doing anything. The Airbus is very surreal when it comes to this, and it takes a little bit getting used to. But if you become very confident or very used to this feature, and then you fly something like a Boeing, it will get you off guard. As you can see at the top left here, it is now suggesting that we go to climb thrust or requesting. So we're going to power back, power back, power back, power back, keep powering back. and there is climb thrust. And you can hear the audible clicks. To engage autopilot, you simply push AP1, and now the aircraft is in control. So if I show you down here, you can see it's slightly above it, but it's still registered it enough. There's a bit of give with the sim, but we are in climb thrust. We touch nothing there, and away we go. Away we go. So I'm just going to turn down the plane because it is a bit loud. Let's turn that right down. There we go, so we can actually hear ourselves think. As you can see, we're coming up to the red tape of doom, so we are at this stage going to go flaps up. And away that goes. I'll give you guys a nice view of that through the cloud, but up they come. And we are leaving East Bradford. Climbing, just passing 4,500, well, 4,600. Speed brake can become unarmed now. And a lot of information you get is just going to be here, okay? So seatbelts is currently on and lights are still on. Fine, not an issue. We're below 10,000 feet for those information anyway. So we're going to keep going here. Aircraft's going to follow the flight plan. And, right, this is perfect. This is what I'm going to show you. So, the aircraft is now flashing the QNH, which means we've passed the transition altitude, which I believe for Leeds Bradford was 5,000 feet. So we've passed that. It is saying, look, switch. So again, you're just going to push that there, and it goes to STD, and it indicates here as well. So at this stage, we're waiting till 10,000 feet, and I don't believe there's any constraints. Again, we can use Sim Toolkit Pro here. Zoom out a little bit. So we had a constraint there, which we had to be above 1,200 feet by the looks of it. 3,000 feet here. Flying down nicely. We have to be above 3,500, above 6,000. Okay, so we've got a flight constraint of 7,000 feet at this waypoint right here. And I believe once we've passed that, then we can climb out. So as you can see, we've passed that waypoint and the constraint's been lifted, so the aircraft is now going to basically climb up, and that is a ridiculously high climb rate, 3,500 feet per minute. So we're going to pass 10,000 feet in a second or two. So passing 10,000 feet, the lights could come off now. There we go. So this is our obviously taxi lights and runway lights, etc. And that's it. So it's going to now increase its speed because we've passed 10,000 feet. And yeah, we're just literally just going to climb out and be on our merry way. Now, one great thing about Airbuses is their uniformity. Uniformity, is that the word I'm looking for? Basically, with a Boeing, the systems are very, very similar throughout all Boeing, but they can differ ever so slightly, especially with the overheads, etc. With Airbus, they are all pretty much identical. The only exception I would say would be the A350, because this whole thing here, all of this is just computer screens. That's it, it's just computer screens. But the concept is still exactly the same down here, apart from instead of clicking on the switches to go to the different sections, it's all on one massive screen right here. But the systems very rarely differ at all from a A319, pretty much all the way up to an A380. So if you got used to flying an A319, pretty much will feel at home in every other Airbus. Again, the only exception would be an A350 due to its computer screens more than the actual systems that you see here. Obviously excluding the older Airbuses like the A300 or A310, but the fundamentals are still basically the same. So what I'm going to do with you guys is I'll fast forward this, give you a nice little time lapse, and we'll come back about, I'd say about 30 miles into our top of the descent. Okay, so we are literally 51 nautical miles away from our top of drop. So that's indicated on the map here with this little down arrow, as you can see there. On largest, you can see a bit better. And if you go down here in the cruise section, you can see 4E9 there. So TD, top of drop, distance 48. You can go through all these pages through here, and if you go to performance, that is where you're going to be currently on. If you have to do a direct for whatever reason, you literally click on the DIR, which is direct, and then you'd select the waypoint, which will populate up here, and then you'd hit confirm. That's it. That's how you do a direct. So with that information of 45 miles, so what we're going to do is we're going to enter our descent profile. So I'll be using SimToolkit Pro / Navigraph here. So as you can see, we're right here, and we're going to be dropping down, and here's our approach. So I'm going to open up Navigraph here. I'm going to click on the approach chart here and overlay, and pin that. So we can see our approach is all set up and everything in the aircraft, as we saw. So what we need to do to capture the localizer, it is 4,000 feet. Again, you're looking for this symbol right here, 4,000 feet at lead key. So we're going to aim for 4,000 feet in the altitude information on the aircraft. We're going to be going Cat 1, so the decision height is 562 as well. So, and we've got the airport weather information. If we scroll all the way down here on SimToolkit Pro, EDDDF, we're landed 2-5 left as we saw before, and the weather information is all here. So it is pretty chilly. Visibility is pretty good though. The winds are at 8 knots, 270, and the QNH is 1026. So this is some information you will need for an Airbus, okay? So I'm just going to scoot this back up here, and I will show you what to do. So it's just told us to enter our descent data, which is what we're doing now. So I'm just going to clear that. So on the performance page, we're going to hit next phase and next phase again, and you're looking for the APPR, which is the approach chart here, the approach page here. So the QNH, as we just said, was 1026, so we're going to put in 1026. The temperature is 3 degrees. The winds are 270 for 8, so 270/8. And the decision height again was, just going to look on the chart, was 562, so we're going to put 562 in the MDA, and then we are going to go back up here, and if you remember it was 4,000 feet, so we're going to switch this down to 4,000 feet here. And what we're doing now is we're quite literally waiting. If we go back onto perf here, we're literally waiting for that to creep down to near 0. And then what we're going to do is when we start our descent is all we do is we push this in. As you can tell, it's no longer got the little dot next to it. But as soon as I push that in, it will populate with the dot as well. There's another thing you can do as well on your descent is you want to hit the LS button, which is right there. And if you watch the HSI here, you see it gives us information there as well. So the ILS frequency. So Airbuses tend to put in the ILS frequencies themselves. So we grab the chart, we can see the ILS is, it's here somewhere, there it is. So it's 111.15, and it is of course a 247. So if we look here, we can see 111, can I drag that? There we go. We can see right there 111.15. And with an Airbus, the heading select here is always current of your current heading. Unlike where Boeing, you have to manually change this. It's very, very automated in this. So we're what are we, 15 nautical miles away from falling out the sky. So what we're going to do is we're just going to start it now. If you starting at 10 to 20 miles early isn't the end of the world. We've been in the air for 55 minutes, which is indicated right here, and also right here at the bottom left. So chrono will give you it here, and we do the manual one here as well. Well, I do anyway. So what we're going to do is we are going to go push in, and there's that dot. You can hear the engine spool down, and down we go. So that is literally it. We have started our descent. We can see the massive cluster coming up ahead, which is absolutely fine. So I'm going to put this on a 40-mile scan, and yeah, we'll let you guys enjoy the descent. There really isn't a lot to do for this aircraft apart from that. So the next stage would be basically when we are downwind to the airport. That's when we start looking to bring out flaps, etc. So back to a time lapse. Okay, so we are on the downwind. The airport is literally just off to our right, down there somewhere below the clouds. Everything's looking a-okay. So we are just coming to 16,000 feet, 260 knots. The aircraft is doing exactly what it needs to do. So as you can see here, the airport is just in range, just there on the screen. As we turn here, we'll be about 25 nautical miles out finals. What we can do is we can prep for landing. So what we're going to do is we're going to go low auto brake here. Now how this works is low is if you're used to flying Boeing, low would be like a 1 and 2, medium would be a 3 upwards, and you should never really need more than the low, to be fair, unless it is a very, very short runway. Let's take Innsbruck for example. So we're going to go low auto brakes. The speed brakes can be armed now, and because the aircraft is completely in control, we don't have to use speed brakes to help decel or reduce speed. Okay, so 10,000 feet, you can see our speed is coming down nicely. We're going to go the lights on now, so on, and on, and that's it. So at 250 knots, 10,000 feet, we're turning base now. What we can do is we can arm the localizer when we turn onto finals. It being 20 plus nautical miles out, it won't capture it for a while, but we can always arm it. It's not the end of the world. So we're turning long finals now, so we're going to put the localizer on, and as you can see that comes up in here and it is blue. When that has been captured, it will turn green. So we're just doing the final bit of the turn now. She's going to level off in a second. And there it goes now. So a long finals, about 25 miles out. And again, I'm not expecting this to capture at any time now. But we've got it armed, so it's ready. So when we come into position to capture the localizer, it is ready to go. And localizer has just been captured. You just saw that go green. So now that's captured, we're going to hit the APPR button here, which is the approach. And that is going to be your glide slope and everything. So we're Cat 3 single right now. There you go. You just heard the engine spool down. Speed's coming way down now. We're 15 miles out. Throttles are idle. And here is the glide slope indicators. So the glide slope is coming down. So again, you want this magenta diamond in the middle and the one down here in the middle as well. And that means you are on a good glide to get onto the runway. So flaps 1 can come out now. There's flaps 1. And we could also go straight to flaps 2. It will go off, don't worry. Speed's coming down. There we go. Did that a little bit too early, but it's fine. So if you wanted to do a Cat 3 landing, so say the visibility is super bad, and it is Cat 3, what you'd do is you'd simply approach, or AP2 as well, and that will put it into dual channel, and that will get you down on a Cat 3. So basically the aircraft will land itself. So we've caught the glide slope. Nice. We are still a little ways out, not too far though. We are 15 miles out still. Speed's coming down very nicely. So you can go into the look at the approach here. So our V approach speed is 137 knots, and as you can see here, that is indicated right there, and we're coming down to it very nicely. And what we could do is we can go gear now. So the gear lever's there, but you can press G on the keyboard or have it bound to something. Gear coming down. There she goes. And we're going to go flaps 3. Flap 3 is set. Obviously the aircraft's going to adjust. And we have 3 green. And we're going to go full flaps. And here comes the last stage of flaps now. Done. Alright, so in a second, this is going to give us information like we did on takeoff, that ECAM no blue. I mean, at this point, you could just take over and fly it yourself. You just want to keep the magenta lines in the middle. What I'll do is I'll bring this up so you guys can see what's going on. So I'm going to take over now. So if you want to take over, you just hit the AP1. You're going to hear a click, click, click. There it is. You're going to press that button, leave the auto throttles in, and at 20 feet off the ground, you'll hear the aircraft say retard, retard, which means retard the throttles, basically idle them. So I'm flying now, keeping this magenta diamond and this one central, and we should have a good descent. Nice steady input. 2000. And there is the ECAM system I was telling you about before. So we've got cabin, which is blue. So again, forward and aft. And now we have ECAM, no blue. Drifted off to the left ever so slightly. To the right, sorry, so we're just going to come left ever a bit. Again, we're following diamonds. If you're a little bit below it or a little bit above it or something, just slightly to the left or right, don't worry, just tiny adjustments. Just tiny adjustments, and it will come back in. There we go, we've got the bottom one on now. .40 knots from the right ever so slightly, so not really crosswind, but it's having a little bit of an impact. The winds have clearly picked up a bit. There's one thing you're going to notice by on your approaches with an Airbus, and this is one of the reasons why you don't go flaps and gear and everything too early. It's just the simple fact that these aircraft can fly very slow. and it feels like the final little bit to landing goes on quite literally forever. I mean, we would have been comfortable going geared down now, to be fair. But for the sake of the video, we're just doing it nice and steady, taking our time. Got 2 white, 2 red on the runway. 700 feet per minute. Now I'm just going to pre-tell you, I'm never ever able to get the flare just right in a Airbus. I don't know why. It's one of those things that just never seems to click with me. No matter how many times I try or how many different types of Airbuses I fly, the flare always eludes me. Really solid.
500.
And I just realised I'm landing on the runway that's the furthest away from the terminal, but here we are. Here we go.
$400
feet.
100 above.
That means you're 100 above your minimum call out.
300
So you'll hear that in a second.
Minimum.
Continue.
200
Bit of rudder.
$100
Now I'm not looking at those diamonds, I'm looking at the runway.
50 40 30 20
Retard.
There you go. Idle the throttles.
10
5.
Try and get that flare. There we go. And reverse thrust. Riders are super sensitive in this aircraft. Speeds at 80 knots. And we can get rid of the reverse thrusts. Get rid of this now as well. Manual braking by just tapping the toe brakes, and that could be indicated with the auto brake being disconnected there. These rudders, I'm really not a big fan of this. And again, I just need to do this to get them out reversed, and we're going to just vacate here. Once we've vacated, we are going to turn off the landing lights, and we're going to put this to taxi. Strobes come off now as well. And what we can do is we can bring the flaps up, and here we are. We have made it, and that is as simple as that. What you could do is, if the airport or runway supports Cat 3, you could do an automated landing for the first couple, just so you get used to the systems, and then maybe, once you get the hang of the flying aspects of programming the systems, then you can try manually flying it yourself for the landings. But yeah, it's really that nice and simple. They are good fun. They are a lot simpler than the Boeing, but no, they can be real good fun. If you do have any questions or anything, please feel free to drop a message down below. I have a link to my Discord as well below, where we've got a great section for support. But if you've got any questions or anything, like I said, just drop it below. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it and pick something up that you didn't know in the first place. Much love, guys, and yeah, catch you next time. Ta-ta.